Hey y'all, welcome to the Devon A. Morris Unfiltered Call-In Show. Have a seat. Let's get ready. You have any questions? Come on, call in. Come on to that Discord channel. Do me a favor, get the unfiltered crew some finger snaps. We're ready to get started here. Mondays, 8 p.m. Every single Monday, we're here. I'm excited about it. Are you? Let's get this show started, y'all. The greatest Scrum show on earth. I'll see y'all soon. Enjoy. Hello. Let me get that. Hey, how you doing there? Welcome to the Unfiltered Show. We talk about Agile, Scrum, entrepreneurship, all those kind of things that you may have questions about. My name is Devon Morris. I'm going to be your host on this journey. I'm a certified Scrum trainer, Lean Six Sigma Black Belt. I just got all kinds of certifications. I'm also in school to get a PhD. So that thing has me under the water right now, for real. It's crazy. So for those who celebrated Easter, happy Easter. Hopefully you had a wonderful and good time. Some people are still in that celebration mode today, so go ahead and celebrate. April Fool's Day is the day. I don't have no tricks for you, but enjoy it. Hopefully you have enjoyed your April Fool's Day today. So I'm gonna say hi to everybody here, and if you are here, whether you are on YouTube or if you're on LinkedIn or Facebook, look, just say hi in the comments, so then I can give a shout out to you a little bit later. Today is interesting because today's topic is simply going to be about the Agile employment situation, just an April update, right? And I think I'm going to do this once a quarter because you need to think about things a certain way. And I'll tell you guys how I think about things if I was just out there looking for certain things, right? So we'll talk about that. Other than that, if you haven't been to this show yet, this is a show where you get to ask your questions. We normally talk for about 15 to 20 minutes about the topic of the day, and normally that leads us to about 20 to 30 minutes after the hour. Then we open it up and we stay until we answer the questions, right? If there are no questions, we end early because we're really here about that I answer your questions, right? You're welcome to join the show live where you can talk to me and we can exchange. If you have a complicated situation, I'd recommend that you join the show live. And the reason why is because we get an opportunity to really exchange. Now, I would say if you're going to join the show, again, the better place to interact is going to be on YouTube. So I would say that if you're on LinkedIn, please jump on over to YouTube and see us there. In terms of, the link, let me grab the link in terms of that, like I always do, but I always forget to grab it is the problem. So I'm grabbing it right now so I can make sure that folks have it on this side. And later on, if people are interested in joining us live, then I'll make sure that we send out the actual link for the show itself, just in case you want to join and us have a conversation. So that would be a good situation. Now, this is always recorded, so whatever we do live here will be available, forever and ever, because we record these because there's a lot of people that watch the videos afterwards, right? But what is going on with me? School was kicking my butt, man. It's really school. I got a lot of commitments I haven't done yet because I've been doing school stuff, right? School and traveling. So hopefully I get a chance to ease myself down from a little bit of that and just keep it moving, keep it going. Let's see. One thing to tell you all, though, just to be aware, I have a big, the sirens are going off around here in my neighborhood, right? Severe thunderstorm warnings is what it is right now. If it does turn into anything crazier, I will literally say to you, hey, yo, I got to go. We'll catch up next week, right? So I'll let you know that. But it don't seem like if it's just thunderstorms, I think we're fine. If everything all of a sudden goes out, hey, man, nothing I can do about it, right? We'll just catch each other next week, right? So just an FYI, so you know, because again, sirens went off twice in my neighborhood, and there's nothing I can do about it if something goes down or anything like that. Because everything, I mean, I got the internet backed up, so the internet may still be up. You know, the laptops got power, but I mean, I have any lighting, anything like that. So anyway, the point is, you understand, right? So we're good to go on that. So that being said, you know, it is, yeah, and for Vicky, you know, I'm in Texas as well, so I'm in the DFW area. So yeah, I get it. I got the same problem that you guys. Trust me. So you understand, Thomas. I see that you do your thing, man. You know, if you're not feeling well, take care of yourself. Patrick, how you doing? Hey, Rajiv, how's it going? But again, I'll make sure we get some shouts out a little bit later. Let's talk about this topic. You know, I always have people come to me, and most recently, somebody sent me a message saying, you know, what's the best place to go look for a job, right? And I won't say that there's a best place, right? But I think there's a secret sauce on information that you should have, right? Information that you should have, right? And so what I said to myself is, what have I done in the past to get a leg up and to make sure I'm going in directions where there is lots of employment, lots of opportunities, right? And so we're going to talk about that in this moment here, right? You know, so we can be good to go. Now, just so that you know, I'm over here just making sure I ain't having no major problems. So it don't look like there's any major problems here. We just got another thunderstorm coming through. I got to confirm this because these people send me messages in the city. So that being said, let's jump into this for today, right? This right here is the Agile employment situation April update. Okay. Now let me give you an idea of how I think, right? I am a big fan, and I've always been a big fan of the Bureau of Labor and Statistics. I don't know if you are, but I have always been a humongous fan of the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, right? Because they provide reports about the state of the economy, the state of labor, and any statistics associated with that, right? And so back in the day, how I decided to go into information technology in general was because of the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, right? Their outlook on IT related anything was phenomenal, right? And so for me, I always go back to that, right? And every month, at least every quarter, they provide an employment situation. And I want to speak to you all about that for a moment and talk to you at least about how I think about it so you can understand where I'm going. So when I think about us in terms of the US and what's really happening, if you really boil down to the basics, the unemployment rate is up, right? I don't know what it was the past month or so, but this is low, 3.9%. You know, that's probably about 375,000 jobs in the U.S., right? And so the unemployment rate is up, which means there are more people that are not employed, is what it boils down to. But that's not what I really look at. What I look at mostly is where jobs are going up, where jobs are being gained. And if you look here, these things here reflect the clients that I have had the most conversations with in terms of Bearded Eagle as a business, right? These clients, right? I can't name to you a single client that doesn't fall in this arena that I'm presenting to you, right? And I would say that this has been this way for the past year, maybe 2 years, something jumping in, something jumping out. But I can say for sure, healthcare is someplace where we've had contracts consistently in the past 2-3 years. And government has been another place where we've had contracts that have been there for the past 2 to 3 years, no question. Food service, social assistance, transportation, warehousing, I can't say a ton about that, right? Because, you know, that has not been a place where I've seen it. But in terms of where I've seen gains, and please understand, I'm a consultant. So I'm a hired gun. And so if people are bringing me in, they're filling a gap, right? They're filling a gap, right? And so if they're bringing me in to fill a gap, that means that they have a gap, which is a place where I would definitely be interested in making sure that I look for organizations that fall within these particular industries. This is what I did back in the day to become a software developer and figure out what industries had gains. And I combined those two, and it led me to financial institutions and insurance companies. Does that make sense? And so if these type of industries are having the most job gains, they're probably hot industries to go work in your field. As a scrum master, you can work in any industry. If you're involved in IT, every industry has IT. So for me, I was really always trying to find the combination of things that would put me in the right place to be paid the most money relative to my peers that are in other places. Does that make sense? And so if I'm you today, what am I doing? I'm thinking to myself, what industries are growing? Where can I go? Where can I take this agile thing and it be in an industry that's booming, that really, really wants me to be there, right? I think of basic startups. I think of them as being agile coming out the box, right? I just do, right? You notice something about this list that's really interesting. Finance companies are not there. Insurance companies are not there. A lot of finance and insurance companies that usually at the bleeding, cutting edge of technology because it gives them a true competitive advantage. And so the statement clearly is those organizations have been adopting this agile thing for many, many years. Some of you all have been around this agile game for 10 years. Okay? And you tell me, is it an accurate view that I'm stating to you? Finance, insurance company, those cutting edge companies that actually use technology as an advantage have already been through several transformations. Most people in an organization would know about Scrum probably a little deeper than in other organizations where it takes time to adopt technology. It takes years to adopt technology. And as I look at this list, I see the same thing. So tell me what your experience has been like. Just drop it in the comments in terms of industries that used to be booming now have kind of leveled off. And what do you see as industries where it's hot? This agile thing is a lot more hot, right? I don't want to, I don't want to just be my experience, because I know there are other people here who have a similar set of experience. And, if I'm you, I'm taking a combination of this data and using it to make the best decision about how I'm going to move forward with my next decade of working. Does that make sense? So I'm looking at this over a decade perspective and not really just, over this just shorter time period. Okay. And I see Vicky has said, thanks for discussing this. It's no problem. On the day I was supposed to receive offers from Southwest Airlines and Cognizant, they laid off a large amount of people and put hiring on hold. Airlines, bam, their biggest advantage from airline to airline is the technology. You understand? I know organizations that's the backbone of ticketing that also laid off lots of people, right? I would also say to you that financial institutions that I began Agile with definitely were laying off people, in 2023, 2024. And a lot of those people were agilists, right? And it's just one of those things where those companies that are heavy with technology and use that as a competitive advantage really had really early adaptation of Scrum and Agile and all these things that we do. It's these other companies, more regulated companies, that don't necessarily look at technology as that competitive advantage, but they need it. They need it, right? We all need it to some degree, right? And so for me, when I think about it, all these industries fall within that mindset, if that makes sense. Truly falls within that mindset. So it's something for you to think about. And again, I'm not making that data up, right? This is directly from the Bureau of Labor and Statistics. You understand? It's directly from the Employment Situation Report, February 2024, right? And it gives a little bit more information in it than what I'm providing to you. But what I'm doing is I'm combining our situation with that. Because the thing is that Agile in 2024 is still promising. Since the pandemic, we've seen an increase, in the popularity of Agile. I mean, I didn't think that was ever gonna. I mean, I've seen it increase and increase and increase, and I'm just waiting for it to stop, right? And so I'm just like, when is it gonna stop? But it just continues to increase, and I'm just seeing that it's jumping, maybe not in the industry that I'm used to being in, but inside of other industries that I was not used to being in. So for me, as I think about it, now I'm starting to think about, back end support services, the industries that support the organizations that are directly actually selling to customers, right? So when I think about what I see here, right, I see healthcare, government, food services, social assistance, transportation, warehousing. All that stuff is important to the backbone of the economy. So as you look at this, I mean, literally, this is what I'm seeing, and it reflects exactly what the Bureau of Labor and Statistics is saying. And so if I'm you, once again, and I think about this Agile thing, don't forget about looking at the market in general, because we are impacted by what's happening in the marketplace, right? And so if you don't look at that, you might end up in an industry where you'll get laid off really soon. You understand? Even if you get in, you might get laid off really soon, right? Because they've had all these touch points already. So if it's me, I'm preparing and I'm adapting things to take it in that direction. you know, just let me know if it's been your experience, because this is the experience that I've had. And none of it surprises me, right? Now, here's the things that I need you to start thinking about, which are also very, very important. So don't forget about these things. And I'm gonna talk about some key factors here, right? One of those key factors, the first one that I really want to mention to you, is industry adoption. Industry adoption. Okay. Now, literally, just think about what I just said to you, right? For me, my focus would be definitely on industries where this agile thing is expanding to. You think about various sectors within industries, healthcare, government, those things would be at the top of mind for me. So if I'm out there looking, I'm trying to find industries where they're on the upswing, where they're super excited about this agile thing, where a lot of people that's coming in, they're like new to it, right? I remember when the wave of HR people would come through my classes, and it just showed me that there was a lot of people interested in Agile and HR, right? And so it's just like, oh, I see that wave happening, right? But that makes sense because HR supports other parts of the business, right? And so that makes sense. They don't directly impact the consumer. They impact the people that impact the consumers, right? And so for me, I'm looking at industries, seeing how industries are adapting to this agile thing, and I'm trying to find ones that are not fully adopted yet, that are kind of at the beginning of that adaptation curve, right? Of that adaptation curve, at the beginning of it, right? Not at the end of it, right? Because you want to think about this, right? Now, we don't stop there with the key factors because there's another one here. I think I got 4 or 5 of them, right? Digital transformation seems to be the word of the day, right? I continue to hear people talk about digital transformation, and digital transformation. I'm definitely finding a way to put that in my resume, right? You know, digital transformation initiatives are really about utilizing agile methods to improve one's ability to respond to changes in the marketplace, to respond to the customer needs, even needs that the customer does not realize that they actually have just yet. And so when I think about digital transformation, that's exactly what I think about, right? And so now, if I take and think about industries that are at the beginning of that adaptation curve, right? That adoption curve, they're at the beginning of that adoption curve, and they are interested in digital transformation, right? They are prioritizing their work. So, and then they can bring in the right people that can help drive the digital transformation. In those industries, agile professionals will be able to command the highest salaries, and they will be the strongest within those arenas, right? So you want to make sure you kind of take a step back and you think about this, okay? So now, again, I got industry adaptation, industry adoption. I have digital transformation. I'm combining these things to make sure that I think about it, right? But that doesn't stop there. It doesn't stop there, okay? We also need to consider as a key factor remote trends, right? I'm gonna tell you, man. I was talking to my ex-wife, right, and she was having a conversation with me because when we worked together, we worked at the same company, Allstate, back long time ago, right? Drive to work every day together and everything else, get into traffic, all those wonderful and great things. And I didn't realize something really interesting. Allstate had it had to be 5 buildings, 3, 4, 5. They bought the other one. They had 2 more. They had to have about 7 to 12 buildings, real buildings at their headquarters, right? 7 to 12 buildings. Okay. Which means they got a lot of land here. Back when Anderson Consulting or whatever they used to be, when there was the big tax company, when they folded and changed their name, they bought that as well. And they sold that entire campus and went all remote. The entire company went remote. And I saw an article, that talked about the people who bought it and how they're going to change it into, guess what? Warehousing. I mean, literally, they're going to turn it into warehousing is what they're going to do. And so the place that I'm so fond of in Northbrook, Illinois, doesn't exist anymore. They're going to tear down all the headquarter buildings. They're going to tear them all down, and they're going to build warehouses. You see where I'm coming from? And there's that trend that organizations, once we hit that pandemic, it's really hard to maintain physical locations, right? Bearded Eagle, we had an office. We did training in our office, a few times a month. But once the pandemic happened, it was dead weight. It was complete dead weight. And a lot of people who I know that go inside of organizations, only time when everybody's really around is when they call really special meetings. And then they show up and then everybody's around. But other than that, people may decide to come in on Wednesday collectively and Thursday or Tuesday or something like that. But it's mostly empty. A lot of these buildings that they had before that they were utilizing. And so realistically, that was such a big surprise to me because I didn't know that they sold themselves. They sold their entire campus and decided to go entirely remote. And so I'm also considering that. As I'm looking at employment because many of us don't want to go back to work. Don't want to go back to a physical location, not every day. dealing with the traffic, the hour or so it takes to get there, and dealing with that back is like, an hour and a half to 2 hours of your day. A lot of people don't want to do that anymore, right? So, that changes things just a tad bit more. And so it's something to think about as you're looking for opportunities. Does that make sense? Do y'all know of other organizations that have gone fully remote, who may have sold their entire headquarters and they really went all in on this thing? I mean, for real, for real, for real. If you know of any of them, drop them in the comments, right, for me, because I'm interested in knowing. But man, that blew my mind, and this happened this year. Like, I didn't know that they sold themselves back in 2023 or 2022, but they are literally turning all that into warehousing. Like, I just, and literally, I'm just connecting those dots right now, y'all. Literally, as I think about it, I'm just connecting those dots, right? So it just is what it is, right? So I'm just like, whoa, wait a minute. So, all right, we don't stop there. Another thing, right? Another thing that's really, really important, that will obviously be helpful, is continuous improvement of culture. This may be an odd one to have here, but it's absolutely appropriate to have here, right? Because the thing about Agile, that you need to make sure that you master, if there isn't anything else that you can master, is Agile emphasizes the culture of continuous improvement. And also, along with that, paired with that, is learning, right? So it emphasizes learning and continuous improvement, right? This really aligns well with organizations striving to innovate, striving to stay competitive in today's market. It really resonates with them really well. And so, you think about this, right? Healthcare, there's a lot of consolidation happening in healthcare right now, and they're trying to be competitive, right? The government is always cutting budgets, so they're working with less than they had before, which means you have to find ways to be innovative and find ways to make things better. So this interest in this whole Agile thing is really, really important, because it does emphasize that continuous improvement and making opportunities to learn and grow and make things ultimately better. So for me, if I'm you, I'm definitely figuring out ways to master that. And then I can help bring that to the table with any organization that I come up on, right? That I walk into, right? Because it's going to be really helpful for them, and it's going to be one of those things that's going to help you have a competitive advantage if you really can speak to that really well. So understand and know that, and just make sure that you incorporate it into what you have. Now, the last thing here on this list, because I think number 5 is the last one, right? The last one on my list is a simple thing, right? And that is going to be skill shortage, right? Here's the deal, man. I can't say it to you any different than this, right? There may not be a skill shortage in terms of Agile within within the insurance sector, right? But that doesn't mean there's not skill shortage in terms of healthcare. That doesn't mean that there's not skill shortage in terms of warehousing, right? In terms of social assistance, right? In terms of any of the things that I put on the list, right? And so you can't think about skill that you see all these people have these skills. You got to think about what industry has a shortage of these skills, where they're willing to pay a premium to get people to come on over and enjoy them in the fight, right? When you have a shortage of individuals, the necessary skills needed to fill those roles, they want them immediately. You understand? They really want them immediately. This skill gap here will give you, as an Agile professional, a way to show that you're different within the job market and command competitive salaries. That combination of things is what you really want in today's world of work. You want to be able to do that because it's all relative. It just really is all relative. If I am working and if I'm here with a bunch of professionals, right, and all of my agilists in this particular industry, I probably can't command a big, gigantic salary. But if I'm in another industry where there's barely any of us, I probably can command a higher salary, right? Let's see, online gambling, right, with a $26 billion in 5 years. Yeah. And they again, they got to be on the cutting edge of technology. So who are they going to be bringing in? Agilists, right? Custom home builders, planned rentals, upgrading customer-facing apps, all those things, right? But again, I'm looking at the industry and seeing if there's gains in jobs there, right? Is there projected shortages in jobs there, right? Because if there's projected shortages or you see gains, that's where you can take advantage of those opportunities and use those opportunities for you in particular, right? And so, you just need to think about it. You need to get yourself to the interview. You need to get yourself in the front door. Let's see. Jamila says, I think once I'm able to get my foot in the door, I'll easily be able to show off my skill set. Great. But here's what I'm going to add to that, Jamila. What you need to understand about an employer is that you represent something for them. One, you represent an expense. They expect to get some return on investment on their expense. And so when you think about it, when you are in those interviews, the question becomes, how can the skills that you bring to the table help to make the company better in some kind of way, help to give the company some type of competitive advantage, help to get their return on investment that they're investing in terms of you. You got to be able to present that well enough within the interviews, within the beginning of consultings, within the contracts, within the SOWs, right? You got to be able to present that from the very beginning so they can see that you're going to bring some value to the table that nobody else can truly bring. And so you got to be able to showcase your skills even though you haven't been able to show your skills. And I think there's a difference between showcasing them and showing your skills. And before you're in the door, you need to have a good way to showcase your skills, right? And that's for everybody in the room, right? I send many of you all to brand and land classes. You have to find ways to showcase your skills, because it's almost like you want people saying, we're just not going to be right if we don't have this particular person. Like, if we don't have Jamila on our squad, we're not going to win the championship. That's how you want them to think, right? And the only way to be able to do that is to be able to showcase your skills, right? Because that gives them incentives, that incentivizes them to actually hire you and bring you in some way, shape, form, or manner, right? And that's really, really, really important, right? I'm glad that makes sense, Jamila. So that's very, very, very important. I have a son that is that's in this agile space. He has a little bit of difficulty right now, and the problem is, it's not about all the greatness that you know how to do. Sometimes it's in the presentation of your greatness where you fail first. And that means you don't get the chance to make it to the front door. You have to give yourself the opportunity to make it to the front door. You have to, you have to, one of my daughters had a situation where, she got herself to the front door, and she sent a picture, and she black. They was like, no, we're not interested no more. Those kind of things still happen in today's world, right? You're female, we're not interested anymore, right? You identify in this kind of way, we're not interested anymore, right? You want people to be able to look past whatever these things are. I wouldn't want to work for those kind of people regardless, right? But the idea is that you have to be able to showcase your skills in some way where they feel like they're missing out on some value if they don't have you. they're missing out on something if you don't come to the table with them, right? So that's really, really important. And if they got a skill shortage, it is, it's just important, right? So that being said, I'm gonna go back to this very beginning because I think those 5 key factors are important. But I'll talk about those backwards for a second. Again, that skill shortage, continuous improvement, a culture, remote trends, digital transformation, industry adoption are all key factors. They're all key factors. But again, I'm gonna say it to you again. The Bureau of Labor and Statistics. Let me say it again. The Bureau of Labor and Statistics is an amazing resource for you, right? And I've been using the Bureau of Labor and Statistics since I started in college doing that, right? So we're talking about early '90s, okay? So legitimately, when I say to you, use the Bureau of Labor and Statistics to take advantage of that, because they have work outlooks for the next 10 years of what they think certain industries are going to do, types of jobs, right? And that's something that you can take advantage of legitimately, right? And so when I look at this list right here, all that says to me is, man, go after jobs in healthcare. Go after jobs that are related to the government, food service, social assistance, transportation, warehousing. Because again, that's where we see gains in jobs, and that's where gaps likely exist. And if you can find a way to get yourself into one of those gaps, you're positioning yourself to be hired a lot sooner. You understand? You just seen Vicky here saying, hey, I had 2 opportunities pulled away from me, right? And I'm going to say, that's not good for Vicky, right? That's not good, right? That's disappointing, right? But I would also say to Vicky, take those resumes that you had, send to those people, redo those resumes, tailor them for healthcare, government. A lot of times just because, I was a software developer starting out. Every industry has software developers, right? So it didn't matter what industry. But once I went in insurance, what ended up happening is insurance and finance companies kept hiring me. And I wasn't doing any insurance or finance, right? But they kept hiring me because I was within that industry and the industry was hot. So you just gotta start thinking about ways you can get an upper hand. And if you think about ways you can get upper hand, you will put yourself in an amazing position. And you always want to be able to put yourself in a super amazing position. Okay? So on that note, I'm going to show this one more time to make sure you all see as we start moving toward closure. Again, as of February 2024, unemployment rate is up. But that's not what you should worry about. You should worry about where there are jobs at, where there's jobs being created at. That's where you want to see. That's what you want to see, right? Because those jobs could have occurred for many reasons, but whatever the reasons are, they are there is the point, right? So make sure you think about this, right? Now I'm gonna say it and I'm gonna close it out on that note, and I'm gonna say, hey man, I appreciate you, everybody, for being here. And the first thing I'm gonna say to you is, make sure you like, you subscribe. These are the kind of things that we're gonna do, right? And I'm at the point now where I'm debating whether we do this every once a month or once a quarter, right? I'm not sure which is the right timing. I'm gonna ask you all the question: what do you think is the right timing for an employment situation update, right? So I'm calling this the AES update, right? What do you think the right timing is for that? Is it a monthly thing? Is it actually a quarterly thing? I wouldn't want to wait more than a quarter. I think a quarter is more than enough. It's not a weekly thing, right? But what do you think should be the cadence or something like that? Because I said to myself, first Mondays or first Monday of every third month is what I was thinking, right? So for me, quarterly seems to be the right sweet spot, but I don't know. You all tell me what you think is the right sweet spot, right? But we're gonna hold off on. We're gonna kind of close out based on that. So hopefully you enjoyed that. You got something of value. And whatever you got of value, kind of drop a little note. What was the most valuable thing that you got from talking about this topic, right? Drop that in the comments. I'd love to read them and talk about them. But we're going to close that out on that note, okay? I'm going to go ahead and give some shout outs, and I'm going to ask you all, do you have any questions that you would like to get answered today? If you do, you know how we do. We will go ahead and allow you to drop your questions in the comments, or you are absolutely welcome to join me on the show. If you want to join me on the show, all it requires fundamentally, is for you to utilize the link that I'm providing to you now. That's to join me live on a show. I'll throw my headphones on and everything else at that point if anybody decides to join. But again, you don't have to join. A lot of people got a little stage fright, so they don't want to join like that. That's cool. That's cool. I'm good with that. If you don't want to join, again, LinkedIn, I just dropped it to you. If you're out there on Facebook, I'm only on Facebook because my mama says she see me over there and she look at me over there. So, that's the only reason why I'm on Facebook. So I'm not really paying attention to Facebook is what I'm saying to you. If you want me to pay attention to Facebook, come to YouTube and tell me to pay attention. So let me get some shout outs here, man. Let's see who's in the building. Right? All my normal people is around. So I'm gonna say, hey Patrick, how you doing? Hopefully you good. Man, I enjoy my everyday, man. So everything is always good with me, brother. Hey there, Rajiv. How you doing? Hopefully everything's good with you, Rajiv. Vicky, I'm sorry to hear about those 2 opportunities that got pulled, but it doesn't surprise me within the airline industry, finance industry, banking, insurance. It doesn't surprise me at all, right? It just does not. I definitely would advise you look at some of those other industries for sure. Again, if you want me to give you a shout out, just go ahead and drop a comment. Just say hi. Hey, Anthony, hey, brother, just get well, just get well. You don't need to be here to get well, so just go get well. Jamila, you definitely had some good comments today. You've all your experiences in healthcare. I never thought about the apply CSM. Yeah, girl, I'm telling you, no joke, man. I've literally worked with some amazing healthcare organizations. If it's me and I was out there like that today, that'd be one of the first places I go, like legitimately, right? Literally. Let's see, Miss P. Bell, how you doing there? Hopefully everything's going good with you. I see some people say quarterly. I see some people say monthly. We'll make the determination for sure in terms of that. So let's go back. Any questions about what we just talked about? Yeah, that's the biggest thing, Vicky. I mean, for all the things the United States government does wrong, does not do so well, the United States government does a lot of things really, really well, right? And one of the things that the United States government does very well, even though it may have some bias in it, is collect statistics. That's one thing that they do really, really well, right? Is collect statistics. And it's one of those things where the Bureau of Labor and Statistics is just a major good free place for you to go to get all kinds of information. I'm telling you, this is the place where I lived, because I want to figure out, I want to narrow down where I should be looking, right? If there's 10 places, right, really looking for a Scrum Masters, I'm really looking for that one place that really, really wants me and really is going to pay me really competitively to be there, right? That's what I'm looking for overall, right? So it's just something to think about for sure, right? So I would take advantage of the Bureau of Labor and Statistics if I'm you. I take advantage of them all day, every day. It's always a pleasure for me to talk about them because I think that they actually do a really good job of giving information. And even if they're halfway right, they come out with these studies every year, so it may change. You just keep going out there and reassessing where you're going, right? And again, I'm not thinking about 1 year plans, 2 year plans. I'm thinking about looking at 10 years, right? And where they see gaps at, and if there's gaps someplace, there are gonna be some gaps where Agilists need to be in too. So I'm kind of looking at that and just like I'm all over that if I'm you. So definitely healthcare is a place where you need to just look for sure. And then other places that were on the list, right, were also very, very important, right? So that is just, what it is, right? But again, maybe I think differently. I don't know. I don't know. This is the way I've always thought about things. I remember when I first found the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, I was so happy. It was ridiculous, right? Because I was just like, man, and this is free, and this is free. I'm for sure like I'm all over this. I'm all over this. Let's see. So yeah. So any questions you all have? If you don't have questions, I'm good with that. I'm always good with that. Because we do this weekly. I'm not expecting us to have bunches of questions all the time. With some of us, we just beginning our work year for the most part. We're starting to get a little busy. But yeah. It's just amazing, man. I just find such joy in this stuff, right? Let's see. Let's check on my other place. See if I'm thinking truthfully here. Yeah. Other than that, everything else is peachy keen, y'all. Everything is so good. And hopefully everything is good with you. I don't see any comments dropping. At least any questions, right? So does this topic work out for you all? Right? Hopefully it did, right? Hopefully it did. This is one of those ones that it's almost near and dear to my heart, right? I'm gonna get the topic out earlier this upcoming week, but I think quarterly may be the right update cadence for this, right? I think quarterly may be the right one, right? Every first Monday, I don't think it's gonna change that much. So the first Monday after a quarter, right? So we have Q2 right now, so it makes sense. So the first Monday after a quarter, right? Yeah, Oscar, hey, don't be discouraged, man. Literally, when I say look at those industries that I just showed you, I would be heavily looking at those industries. And I would almost guarantee you'll find more opportunities in those industries. You just got to also make sure that you present yourself in a way that's appropriate, that's going to capture their attention, and that you can showcase your skills, right? It's one thing for them to have the belief that you can do it when you get in, but showcasing them is what you need to do to be able to get in. So you got to make sure that hey man, testing the job market is easy. Put your resume out there. Tailor your resume. My biggest advice to give to you is to attend a class called Brand and Land by John Signo, right? That would be the biggest advice I would give you, so you can actually be able to showcase yourself appropriately. John Signo is Bearded Eagle alumni. Many of you here are Bearded Eagle alumni, and I always appreciate Bearded Eagle alumni. The main reason why I started doing this show was for Bearded Eagle alumni, right? So I would say go attend Brand and Land. Anybody in here attended Brand and Land already? And my question for you is, if you did attend Brand and Land, did you get some value out of it? What kind of value did you get out of it? Throw that in the comments for me. If you attended Brand and Land, what kind of value did you get out of Brand and Land, right? If I go ahead and go here right now and look, I may be able to get you an email address or something like that, and you can reach out. But that's pretty much what I would be thinking. I would go to the Brand and Land class, and then I would go ahead and make sure that my presentation is okay, and I'm showcasing myself appropriately, and then learn how to customize my stuff, and then going from there. So I'm over here just looking it up to see if I can find it, and then you'll be kind of good to go. So I'll just drop the email. If I can find the email, I'll drop it. Ooh. Yeah, if I find that email, I'll drop it. So there we go. And again, I don't make any money off this, so you all know. Again, I always like to support Bearded Eagle alumni, no question. So you got great things you do for the community. Let me know. So here you go, right here. In terms of, yeah, I'll drop it on LinkedIn. I'm just dropping the email address. Just send the email address. Tell John I sent you. And talking about, asking about when the next Brandon Land classes, right? It's 5 hours of solid content, right? For real. So I think you'll get a whole lot of value out of it. I actually took it, so if I wouldn't be able to say this if I didn't take it, right? But I actually took it myself, and I didn't do nothing with it, because it's just not it's just not the type of business that I have, right? You know, um, yeah. John's great, and he is focused primarily within PMI for sure, no question about that. And so, for the information that you receive, for the amount of money that it costs, you'll be good to go. So just make sure that you kind of go through that, and make it happen for yourself, right? I may go back because I need to get my LinkedIn right. Not because I'm trying to look for a job. It's just I need to get it right. Jamila's attended. It made her more mindful of getting the right info on her resume and importance of networking and LinkedIn optimization. So highly recommend. I don't know anybody who wouldn't highly recommend it, right? So, just so you know, Oscar, these are people that've been through it, not just me, right? Let's see, any other questions? Because other than that, we're gonna shut it down for the day because it's been good. So hopefully you all got some good information today. You know, what's the biggest thing you walking away with from today with? What's the biggest thing you're walking away from today with? Drop that in the comments, whatever that biggest thing is, right? She gave a double recommendation, Jamila. I attended, highly recommend. Lots of important information for networking optimization. Yeah, so I agree with you, Jamila, 10,000%, right? Let's see. So that's it for us, right? I don't know what the topic is going to be next week, but I'm going to have it go out a little bit earlier. I'll work on that tomorrow for sure. But other than that, I'm going to say, y'all, this has been a pleasure. This has been nothing but pluses. As usual, I'm just trying to give you all information that's good. Make sure that you invite other people to join us. Make sure that you subscribe, get other people to like and subscribe. We're growing this channel slowly, but again, there's over 200 videos out there where it's just a lot of information that you can utilize. But on that note, I'm going to say, I think we're good to go for today. So I'm going to say to you all, make sure you have the most amazing week. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And for those people that are in bad areas, there's bad storms right now, just be safe. Take heed to the horns and everything else like that. Other than that, y'all, it's been amazing. I'm going to see you next week, same time, same channel, and we're going to go from there. So make sure you enjoy the rest of your week. Other than that, peace, everybody. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.